When I talk to tinnitus sufferers, people often tell me if I could just accept my tinnitus, it wouldn't be so bad. Now, I know exactly what these people are trying to say, but I've found that it's not actually helpful to think about tinnitus in those terms because severe tinnitus isn't something that you can just magically accept. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that acceptance isn't possible. It definitely is, and it's important to the process. It's just not something that you can force. Acceptance happens automatically as you habituate. You can even go as far to say that acceptance is the emotional state of habituation. Now, part of the problem here is that people do habituate naturally over time, but they often don't understand why or what actually happened to them. Whenever you hear someone say, I just accepted my tinnitus and it isn't so bad anymore, they most likely habituated naturally, but don't understand what happened to them well enough to explain it in those terms. And when you're suffering, it doesn't help to hear people speak like this. It can make you feel like you're failing in some way, like you're struggling to grasp some obvious answer that's clear to everyone else. But these people didn't figure out something that you haven't discovered yet. They habituated naturally, possibly without even trying. They're the lucky ones. Unfortunately, that isn't the case for everyone. It certainly wasn't for me. I had to work very hard to habituate. Now, the other problem with this type of acceptance-oriented thinking is that conscious control of tinnitus is impossible, even for someone who is fully habituated like me. People who habituate naturally often believe that their acceptance was a deliberate choice, one that resulted in the relief that they're experiencing. But this type of thinking is usually based on a misunderstanding of what has actually occurred. They didn't simply choose to accept their tinnitus, they habituated somehow. Their nervous system stopped reacting to the sound, so it stopped bothering them, and their brain started tuning it out. Acceptance was the result of the process, not the process itself. And this is important to understand because spikes are possible even after you habituate. Life happens, and our tinnitus can change for any number of reasons. And if you don't understand how you actually found relief, you're going to have a much tougher time. When my tinnitus fluctuates in some way, whether because of stress or if I accidentally expose myself to loud noise, I can't just flip a mental acceptance switch in my brain to turn the volume back down or force my attention away. The experience of habituation is a lot like happiness, or the feeling of being in the zone, that feeling when you're enjoying yourself so much that time speeds up or slows down, where you're just totally immersed in the present moment, enjoying some activity to the fullest extent possible. And when you're experiencing that level of happiness or enjoyment, it's just happening automatically. You can't choose to feel that way. And more often than not, as soon as you start thinking about how good you feel, you start to lose the feeling because you're no longer in the present moment just going with the flow. Habituation is similar in the sense that you can't simply choose to accept your tinnitus and tune out the sound. That happens as your nervous system stops reacting to your tinnitus as the sound of something dangerous. Your brain just starts tuning it out automatically more and more of the time. And when it spikes or starts bothering you again, you won't be able to flip a switch in your brain to instantly tune it out either. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do to create the environment necessary for this to happen quickly, but you need to actually understand what's happening for this to work. Otherwise, you're going to feel powerless when it spikes because acceptance alone is a bad strategy for relief and wasn't what caused you relief in the first place. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're suffering right now and struggling to accept your tinnitus, you're not doing it wrong. Acceptance will happen automatically when you're on the right track with habituation. It really can't be forced. And just because you haven't habituated yet doesn't mean that it's not possible for you. Habituation is entirely possible with the right strategy, some hard work, and time. So if you want to learn more about how I habituated and the strategies that I use to find relief, I'll include links below in the video description. Otherwise, that's it for me today. I hope you have a great day, everyone. Take care.